I know that this is going to be the YouTube version, the long one, because it's been one of those days and there is no way I can do this fast. I am attempting to make a galette. I've never made a galette before. Cook the lardons on a low heat so that all the fat comes out. The other thing that we need to do is to take an egg and separate the yolk from the white. The next thing I'm going to do, which I know I've shown you before, which is my way of getting moisture out of, what's this called? Spinach, is to generously sprinkle it with salt. And I mean very generously, actually. That was 2 big sprinkles. And to then mash it up in your hands, and it will, in a colander, over a bowl, and this will start to extract the excess moisture. I'm not going to film that. This is good for you to see. I have not added any more salt than you saw me adding, and I am just massaging it into, and that was, you know, a fair amount of spinach. And look what it's becoming. And then you're going to start squeezing out the moisture. It's such a great way of doing it because you're, look at that. It's fantastic. Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to just leave that on my chopping board, ready for when I start putting this dish together. So for a galette, I'm putting a baking sheet in the oven and I am preheating it to 200 degrees. This bit's important. I've split 1 egg with the yolk and the white. I've got a piece of, it was ready rolled short crust pastry. It wasn't quite wide enough for me to, I wanted to cut it out to around of a plate size and it wasn't wide enough, so I rolled it out a little bit more, and I'm going to paint around here, so leaving about 1 inch on the side with white, the egg white. This will seal the bottom and it will dry. So it is important that you put the egg white on, and then I'm going to put this in the fridge and I'm going to leave it to dry out while I prepare for the rest of the meal and wait for this bacon to cook. Can I just say that tips like that about painting the bottom with the egg white, those are top tips. Those are tips that stop you getting a soggy bottom. This bacon has cooked for about 5 minutes. Look at all that fat that's coming off. And I'm going to put all the bacon in there. And I want this pan as dry as possible. And then we're going to dry fry the mushrooms. So that is nice and hot. And the mushrooms are going in. You've seen me do films before about why I dry fry mushrooms, and it gets all the flavour. It's very hard to burn a mushroom, so be brave. So I've moved the mushrooms to a higher heat. There is no fat in that pan. I just want to get some colour and some flavour into them. I've also put a pan of boiling water on because I'm going to finish this with some green beans, but that's quite random. You can see the colour I've got on there, dry frying. So I'm going to tip these into a bowl. I'm going to drop the heat down low and gently cook some onions in. Actually, I think I'm going to gently cook the onions in just a little bit of butter. And this is 1 whole red onion, just sliced, it's not chopped. And I'm going to pour in the bacon fat. I'm going to hold the bacon. Bacon fat can go in. I'm going to add the bacon to the mushrooms that are resting. I'm probably overcomplicating this, but this is how I cook. The spinach that you have got all of the liquid out of. Beat your egg yolk and add a teaspoon of water to the egg yolk. So I'm beating my egg yolk with a teaspoon of water. The cheese that I'm adding tonight is Taleggio. I remember going to the supplier, the guys that used to supply me with crate loads of burrata for the supper club, and they said the best cheese for cooking Italian dishes, this is French, I know, but melting and saltiness is Taleggio. So I'm using Taleggio tonight, and I'm going to just cut this into some little pieces ready to dot onto my galette. It's always good to taste everything so you know what you're dealing with. You can't rush good onions. These have taken nearly 15 minutes. I'm now going to put in the bacon and the mushrooms, and I'm doing this so that I leave as much moisture behind as possible, and just leave that to cool for a bit. While it's cooling, I've got 3 stalks of thyme, and I'm going to just put the thyme leaves in. I'm going to put a load of pepper in. So I've got my pastry. It's cold. I'm going to spoon this into the middle, leaving a 1-inch edge around the whole thing. I'm going to sprinkle over the chopped spinach and then top with the taleggio cheese. Oh, this is so naughty. Next, I'm going to start pleating it in. So I'm going to bring this pastry over the side, do a little pleat, and again, I'm going to paint the edge with the egg yolk that's been mixed with a tiny bit of water. It looks amazing, generously. So I'm now going to get the hot pan, the hot sheet out of the oven. The galette is already on paper. I'm going to slide this straight on, and I'm going to put this in the oven for 25 minutes. This has come out the oven. It looks pretty bloody fantastic. It was 25 minutes. I just feel the bottom. It's good. Drain my beans. I'm going to put some salt in, some pepper, put a bit of butter. This feels beautifully crisp all over. I'm going to cut it in half. That is gorgeous. That is a galette.